putting ourselves in context. We're interpreting it right. Now saying, there's nothing I could do. A camel can't go through the eye of the needle. I am desperate for what God has done for me already. This is why I spell the gospel done, D-O-N-E. It's not religion. It's not ritual. It's faith and trust in an event that happened 2,000 years ago, Jesus' death and resurrection on the cross.
So when he said rich man, he was talking about everyone.
Everyone. Because
why did he use that?
Rich, because there was a lot of health and wealth prosperity gospel in the first century. This is why people didn't believe Paul was an apostle. He had so many problems. If you read 2 Corinthians 1, Paul is like, I have the sentence of death within me. I don't even want to go on living right now. This is why we can be honest about our pain. We don't live in our past, but we learn from it. We can be honest about our suffering. Paul had so many problems that they accused him of not really being an apostle, because how can God be with you? You have so much adversity in your life. Because in Judaism of that time, only the righteous were blessed. If you had adversity, do you remember when they this is a perfect example, John 9. Teacher, who sinned, this boy or his parents, that he was born blind? John 9:3.
Yep.
Jesus says, neither, but that the power of God could be made manifest among you. And so there was a lot of health and wealth gospel, which I detest to this day. And Jesus is saying, if a rich man can't pay for it, nobody can. Only my grace makes it possible.
Wow.
So this is why context, we have so many, heresy happens in some churches every Sunday. Give me Jesus in no context or the Bible in no context, and I immediately become a heretic. That's why my job is to build all of these portals to the past to help us have a greater exegetical precision so we can apply it to our life more easily. This is where the bone boxes are important. I don't know if you remember the part in the Gospels when Jesus says to the young man, he wants to stay and bury his father, and Jesus is like, no, you need to follow me now. The dead will bury their dead. Remember he says that? Like, we haven't, because of our historical distance, we're like, wow, that's kind of rude, Jesus. Let him bury his dad. No, he was wanting to wait a year to follow Jesus so he could collect his dad's bones and put him away. He was delaying his obedience. The only reason we know that is I just gave you the context of archaeology. Oh, now I get it. He was using that as a delay mechanism. And Jesus is like, no, today is the day of salvation. You need to follow me right now. Doesn't that help?